Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsp@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to Kaizen Time. I'm joined with Clay Hamlin, a partner here at the firm. How are you doing, Clay?
Good, Mark. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm
Super.
very excited to talk about this because I love artificial intelligence. I think it's this great and powerful tool that we can utilize to, be productive, intelligent, and kind of like how the internet has moved humanity forward, both good and bad, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I think this is another great tool for humanity. So my question to you is how to get started using AI within like a small business, whether it's automation or anything. What's kind of like, what would you say is a good starting point?
Sure. And I think when you look at all the different businesses that are out there, I couldn't nearly speak to the variety of types of businesses. I think that AI pertains a little bit more to businesses that use information a lot.
Absolutely.
But it could pertain to any business. And maybe how I'd answer this is by just talking about our journey and see if somebody can, pick up something from how we approached it.
Sure.
So when we learned about AI, I read about it in the Wall Street Journal months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's probably years ago now. It seems like every week the
actually,
news on it changes.
It surprisingly isn't that long ago. But
No.
But in any event, so what we did, a couple of us just opened, went to, Googled
Mm-hmm.
OpenAI and set up an account.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just started to play with it. So the first thing I did was I had to write a message to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just copied and pasted in there and said, basically, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me some feedback. So then I thought it was some good feedback.
Okay.
So then I just started Googling how to use this thing, right? What can you do with it?
Mm-hmm.
And I got some good feedback from others saying, if you give it specific directions, review this email for tone and content and writing to a wide spectrum of our team
Mm-hmm.
and want to be as friendly as possible.
Sure.
Or you can say, I want to write this email and talk like a pirate. Or
I love that one, by the way. I'm a big fan.
I mean, you can, the more specific you give it, like who's your audience? What do you want out of this thing? What are you trying to do? I wrote one today where I said, we're actually terminating a client who was not been very, was F-bombing us and stuff.
Okay. Not great.
Yeah, not great. Not that we didn't do quality work, but we wanted it, and we wanted to do work in a different format. He didn't want to do that. So anyway, be that as it may, how do we write an email that is friendly but firm
And professional.
and
right?
professional?
Yep.
And also leaving room for not terminating or terminating depending how the conversation goes. That's
Sure.
literally what we typed in.
And that is not something that is easy to just think of yourself, right?
Correct.
Yep.
And I literally edited that email quite extensively and did a very nice job of it for that tone and cadence, right? So that's something you can do. One of our locations, we had we were moving it to a different physical location, and we decided to sub-rent it. So I typed in about 5 or 6 general terms, like what did I want for sublease rent? Who was the sublessor? We had a person lined up. What was the person's address? Who was the key person? Typed in 4 or 5 kind of metric type of things, and then said, write me a sublease agreement. They wrote me this 5-page sublease agreement.
Oh, wow.
Which their attorney reviewed and said, "Yep, sounds good."
Attorney reviewed it. That's great. And so one thing I want to add, and I'm glad you brought that up, is that it is not legal advice, right?
It's not.
It's not a professional, but it gets you kind of in the realm, right? It gets you in on the field, and in many ways, it gets you a starting point.
Right. And keep in mind, so this is a 9-month sublease agreement.
Mhm.
If I had, you know, a very high dollar volume, long-term agreement, that type of thing, I would have our attorney review it.
Yeah.
Something that was much smaller dollars,
Mhm.
had limited, shelf life to this thing. By the time I got that to an attorney, got it back, their attorney reviewed it, got it back for all these changes the attorneys would have had on this thing. We'd have been a couple months down the road, of which we would have lost that sublease money, and the amount of hassle that would have gone into that was like, here's a low cost approach to something to get it done.
Yep. So, you make great points, and one thing I just want to add to that with just utilization of AI is it's great, and it should be done in baby steps. Don't just think that, hey, I can install, which is not how artificial intelligence works at all. You don't install it, but you start utilizing it, and it's going to change everyone's life. No, it is a progression. The software is growing and changing every day, and I think it's important that people realize that we're kind of progressing along with it, how we interface with it as it changes as well.
Yeah, it's interesting, your comment there, that AI, it's learning from the data that we put in it, was one of your comments.
Absolutely true.
And so one of the things that we noted when we're doing some research about what AI could do is if we uploaded, say, a client's balance sheet. Let's say we said, hey, Mark's balance sheet, right?
Please never upload my balance sheet.
Balance sheet is like, how much you have in assets, what you owe and what you owe, what you own and what you owe is kind of like on a snapshot on a particular day.
All right.
It's kind of like what a balance sheet is, right?
Okay.
If we uploaded and we said, this is Mark's balance sheet, and let's say your buddy just said, hey, I wonder if I can find in ChatGPT, what's Mark's balance sheet? Well, he could pull that up if he knew it specifically.
Yep. So
right? And it literally, you can upload a PDF of Mark's balance sheet and say, give me commentary on this. It will give you good commentary. What you want to do, though, is you want to black out the stuff that you don't want ChatGPT to learn, like whose balance sheet this is, whose information is this. You don't want to upload that.
And that is absolutely crucial, as people are just kind of playing around with it. The information you're putting in is almost like you're feeding it to a search engine in a way, because all of a sudden that information can now be recalled. Right?
Correct. If you're specific enough with your request, I've never tried this. I think I might try it like with a rival CPA firm and just say, hey, what does their balance sheet look like? See if it gives me something.
I wanna throw some things at you, and this is also important because not every artificial intelligence is the same. And I don't want to go down too much into the rabbit hole, because obviously this is changes every day. So I do my own writing, and I would feed ChatGPT the information that I wrote, because I couldn't remember everything I wrote.
Right.
And then I would have it tell me things like, oh, who was this character who did certain things, or what would this character do next, or what would they likely do? And it would give you all these parameters. So it's really great tool for like brainstorming, coming up with ideas, and getting rid of a lot of the labor-intensive work.
Sure.
Putting together a difficult email, you could sit there in front of a blank email for 2 hours because it's not something you really want to write. But an AI could put something together and knock a good hour right off. That's savings right there.
That 5-page sublease agreement.
Well,
I mean,
I
could spend a whole day at that thing. I was done in 10 minutes.
And that's great.
I mean, it was, even I was surprised. I knew GPT could do stuff, but I was like, man, this is awesome.
So let's do a quick rundown of what kind of AI is out there. So there's OpenAI, that's ChatGPT. It's by far the most popular one.
Right.
The other one that I highly recommend is the Google Bard. It's got some recent updates, and it works phenomenally with the Google Workspace. So people who use Gmail, Google Drive, all those, it's able to interface with those. So let's say you have some documents.
Yep.
Whether Word documents, spreadsheets, whatever, you can reference the sheets in there and have it give you a synopsis. And it is phenomenal. It does a great job.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add? Any other AIs that you've really enjoyed?
Our firm only uses OpenAI or its Bing equivalent.
Okay. Yep.
So, Bing, if you have a Microsoft 365 license, it has Bing included in it. And surprisingly, Bing says that your information is private.
Sure.
I'm not sure I trust that just yet, but
sure.
It says that.
It does say that.
Whereas OpenAI does not make any sort of comment like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Bing has limitations. Like 2,000 words might sound like a lot of words, but surprisingly is not a lot of words. The email that I was working on today was more than 2,000 words, and so I had to switch over to OpenAI.
Yep.
But there are many search or artificial intelligence engines out there, and I would recommend Googling them and to see if there's something specific to your business that would work better. Because there's a lot of surprising stuff. Like, for example, there is one in this company called RootWorks for tax.
Okay.
Specifically. And so sometimes the answers you get out of OpenAI are just clearly wrong. I've done a number of, I did a presentation for our firm in terms of like how often just, AI is just completely wrong. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of times.
Especially the more detailed the information needs to be, right? The more accurate, the more finite, right?
Yes. So, I mean, these supposedly are getting better, but man, how often they're wrong is just amazing. So there is one for tax. Mm-hmm. And the tax one is updated regularly for changes in the tax law, whereas regular OpenAI is not.
So, and that's one last thing I want to touch base on before we wrap up is you always have to look at how the information is being fed into that AI model. So, for example, Google is obviously this very powerful one because it has the entire Google engine behind it.
Yep.
Which means basically the entire internet that it scans. For example, the new one that Twitter or X is creating, it uses information specifically from Twitter or X because it's supposed to be this, very, you want to get information that's happening right now. But how accurate is the information from that platform? Like, what do people say on it? I know what people say on it. That ain't accurate.
Yeah. I think another very interesting and very productive development that will be coming along will be AI in your private domain, whatever domain looks like for you. Mm-hmm. So like for us, clients, tax returns, financials, our practice management system, where it can, you have AI, you have artificial intelligence, could be from OpenAI, could be from others, where it's literally in your sandbox. It is private, and it's looking through all the documents you have. Well, it could be thousands, could be millions of documents that you have, to search things faster. Because we, as businesses in the U.S., we spend a lot of time searching for something. Where was that letter I sent to someone 3 years ago? Mm-hmm. What was that email I sent to someone 2 days ago?
Just searching, it could cut down time dramatically.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's going to be one of the biggest ones for small businesses in the U.S.
Perfect. Is there anything else you want to add, Clay?
There isn't. No, I think definitely a good starter kit.
Perfect. Like I said, for a lot of businesses, it's just put your toes in, see how it feels, and then kind of use your imagination in many ways.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Clay.
Thanks, Mark. Good talking to you.
You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.